Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. It is Thursday night, a little before 9 p.m. here, and I tell you that because you'll be seeing this in like less than 2 days. Usually, this, if I went with a typical fashion, this would be like KC Tool Haul 120 something. Yeah, you wouldn't see it till Christmas time or later, most likely. I've got some really cool tools that were really new that aren't anymore, and they kind of get backlogged, and I hate that, and this is something I'm not going to let that happen to you. That's how excited I am about this. That's how new this thing is. Hot off the press, ordered it immediately, right as it dropped into the hands at KC Tool. Shipped out. I got it Saturday, or I guess Monday actually. I got to the post office late Saturday. Got it Monday, and I've just been waiting to get some time to come out here and make this happen. So, real quick, anytime you buy from KC Tool, you're going to get a bit of thanks. It's currently shipping as a number 2 Phillips from VIT. And right here, you're also, if you exceed $75, which we did, you get free freight. If you exceed $100, you get the mystery sticker. Now, I have not opened this, and I don't know what it is. I'm only including this, only delaying the start of an awesome, enjoyable experience in the hopes that this somehow lines up exactly with what we hope it is. Not that we'd be disappointed with any of them, but aside from duplicates, let's see. That's the checklist. Suspense builds. Alright. Come on. Let's see here. I think I should be able to feel it. This is not the one that I was hoping it would be, but it might be one we don't have. Ballast tool. Very cool. So, if you're new here, this is what you get now when you exceed that mark. If you're a veteran viewer of the channel and you're like, whoa, 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 where's the German tool sticker pack? It's been replaced. Again, a couple of the videos we've gotten to cover that. You will see why I had one particular sticker I was hoping was in the bag as soon as right now. This is a big one. This is very, very exciting. If you go back in time, and I did a couple days ago in anticipation of this video, and watch some classic, dare I say classic now, German tool reviews, when I see the dates on these videos, man, like some of them, 5, 6, 7 years ago, doesn't seem like it was that long ago, like 2 or 3 seems more apt, but time flies, and nonetheless, this particular video I'm referencing from GTR would be Pliers Wrench Showdown. Again, if you've never heard of his channel, he's been inactive for a while. Things kind of get buried on YouTube when those things happen. For everyone that complains about the links of my videos, this is something you will take note of. German tool reviews. Very, very packed videos in very short time frames. So while you might have 15 minutes, it's packed. You get history, you get comparisons, stats, you can quantify everything. This particular one might be of interest to you if you're wanting to go back in time, and you very well might. And if you're thinking like Pliers Wrench Showdown, huh? I remember watching that. It doesn't seem that long ago. And you could have watched it, but it originally released quite some time ago now, which again is crazy. And you're probably sitting here and you're thinking like, what's this? Okay, well that looks, well, those are Hazet pliers. Yep. You confirmed they're Hazet pliers, and then we got some Hazet universal pliers, right? Yeah. What's going on? Must be going to talk about Hazet Pliers Wrench. And you're probably thinking to yourself, let's stop and think back. How did Hazet Pliers Wrench do in the German Tool Reviews comparison? Well, some of you may know, some of you might be scratching your heads trying to think like, how did that do? Probably a Knipex one. Where would Hazet have been? Maybe an outlier because of price. Well, Hazet didn't have an entry in that video. And that's because, and I think a lot of people, will kind of be surprised by this, Hazet never had a pliers wrench until now. And I am giddy as a little schoolgirl about this one because I'm extremely excited to see what they brought to the table. It is true, Hazet never has had a pliers wrench. Again, you come in, we've done Gador, we've done Stahlwille, we've got NWS most recently. A lot of you have probably picked up Capri, or not Orbis, Capri or Ulsa, which is kind of like from the you know, underlyings of Knipex, if you will. Some of you also here recently, we picked up the Icon. The Icon is not here at the house because it's at work. It's fine. The jaws are worn a little bit, mainly because of what I grabbed. They all do that. The biggest disadvantage of that one is just the weight. It's akin to the Knipex Series 1, which was a heavier iteration. But there's really no complaints in terms of functionality there. It's just at that price point, you could be thrifty for a week or two and get yourself into a much better deal for the same or very similar money. Sadly, that is not the case with Hazet. If we have to talk about one negative, one thing I'm not excited to tell you about, it's the price point. Most of you, if you follow the channel, if you follow German tools in general, at least here in America, some of you get better prices. The reason you might have thought, like, yeah, I bet Hazet did pretty good in that Pliers Wrench Showdown, but, you know, they probably dropped down a peg or two just because of the price. So many times, you have very competitive prices or very close prices, and then you have Hazet, like, way out here. And I'm not going to break down everything for you, but I will tell you, this particular pliers wrench was $139.91. That is, again, that's a lot of money. That's a tough pill to swallow. If you think like, man, I would never spend that, I don't even need to watch this video aside from curiosity, I'd never shell out $140 when I could go get Knipex or Icon for fractions of the price. I could have 2 or 3 pairs. You totally could, but tool of the day, Dark Gray Friday, Black Friday, seasonal sales perhaps. You know, this is the type of thing, if you can luck into this on tool of the day, that's when you want to know about this. That's when you want to say like, hey, you know, that did look good enough to try, or I don't have that size, I think I'm going to pull the trigger. Otherwise, maybe you're a Hazet super fan, maybe something that you see on this, you think, hey, that's going to be better than what I've got. I'm going to give it a go. There's also a couple other reasons I'm excited about this. May not be as obvious. But, let's go ahead and kind of walk through some of the features here. Hazet, I don't know how long they've had this in development. I don't know the particulars there. I assume quite some time. I also assume they took the time to perfect it. Typical pliers wrench, you're going to be able to grab 6-point stuff. You're going to be able to get square stock, flat stock. That's a very underrated feature of pliers wrenches. People either seem to do it all the time or never think to do it. It could be flat stock. It could be anything. Breaking something off, like perforated, or, you know, like you've torched something and you just kind of need to shimmy it, especially when the material's hot. I'm talking you just made the cut type of a thing. Don't burn your hand. Don't put a hole in your gloves. Come in with the pliers wrench. You're not going to mar the finish if that's the piece you need to machine or something. Laser etching, that's going to be a big deal for Hazet. We're going to take a look at that. Things I want to cover here. This, it kind of killed me. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to get the 7-inch iteration for everyone else, the 180 millimeter. I went ahead, since we have 10-inch from everyone else, I thought, you know what? Let's do that for an eventual comparison video. If I like this thing, I'm going to put the 7-inch on the radar. I'm thinking I'm going to like this thing, but the size range right out of the box, this could expand, it could reduce, who knows. You're going to have the 260, that's right, not 250, but 260 millimeter pair. You're going to have the 7-inch 180s. You're going to have a 150, or roughly 6-inch, and you're going to have a 125, or 5-inch. I think that's a pretty solid lineup there. So 5, 6, 7, 10, 125, 50, 180, and 260. Part numbers, 762 is going to be the series. The 260-26. The 180 millimeter -18. Using that, we might be able to deduce that the 150 millimeter iteration is going to be what? -15, correct? And say it all together, the 125 millimeter is going to be -12. There you go. So, very, very nice sizes there. I think we'll stop the suspense and we'll just kind of get into this. And I think I just realized that the Knipex is over on the welding table. So back to the Milwaukee we go. Packaging in hand. Very, very nice. I don't know what it is. I personally love Hazet's packaging. Simple boxes, nothing Insane. Somewhat informative. Usually you can learn. Obviously here we got the OAL, you got your part number, you've got the aesthetics on the front side here. I'm going to tell you right here, if you're a QR person or if you just want to go to their website, they have started doing some pretty cool videos. I say that as someone that enjoys this type of content. It's the manufacturing process. If you've ever wanted to see, you know, their press, if you want to see like the chroming process, the dipping, the hand assembly of the quick release, any of that stuff, it's all there. They also have one that kind of covers applications. One's a little longer, one with some funky German house music. It's all there for your enjoyment. If you're into that sort of a thing, you might check it out. Now right here, the 762, again, that's going to be their pliers wrench series. So if they come out with, say, a 12-inch, what is that, 300 millimeter, it would probably be a 762-30. Look at us solving the part number system here. It will expand from there. You'll kind of add it in stride, but 762 would be your starting point. In this case, the 26 or the 260 millimeter, you can see 56 millimeter capacity. Some of you are like, hey, don't a bunch of them stop at 50 or 52? Yeah, that is a selling point. That's something that they obviously took some time to engineer in. Might be why it's 260, not 250. Who knows? If we can find English here, there are 20 locking positions. If you're wondering, like, hey, why did you put those pliers out here? Well, we'll get to that final side in a second, but some of you on their universal gripping pliers, think of those similar to the Cobras, you'll remember, like, oh yeah, Hazet had that funky little one-handed thing, right? That's what set them apart. Yeah, that is one of the things I'm quite excited about. You can see the lever there. As we mentioned, there's your typical, this is what most people are going to do, you know, hex, six-sided fasteners, square stock, you've got your flat stock. This is an add-in. This is something that I don't believe any of the others do. And you're thinking, like, well, what is that? That looks like a nail. Yeah, it's a nail. You're thinking, like, how? Why? Why would I do that with pliers or wrenches? You know, I'd use like pliers for that, or pliers for that, not this pair of pliers for that. I'm a man that has to deconstruct a lot of pallets, okay? And I'm constantly using, especially like channel locks pincers. That's kind of like my go-to for stuff like that. The twin grips also work quite well if it's a little looser of a nail and you can just kind of shimmy it out and pull. It catches sort of behind the head. This is a big deal for me because when I've got a tool on the job that I have to carry over, it's a situation where if I can have multiple things done with one tool, let's go, right? If I can have a screwdriver that's a ratchet, a breaker bar, and a hammer, that's a win. I don't have to carry all four of them over there. I don't know how often I would wind up using this. Obviously, anything cylindrical, you know, small cylinder, if you will, wire as well. If it fits, it grips. You can leverage it out like a fulcrum. You can pull it. You can hold it to... It could be as simple as you've got threaded rod. And if you've got it in there, say it's 1/4-20, and you've got your pliers wrench here, and you've got your bolt cutters here. It could be that simplistic of a thing. It could be something more in depth, who knows, but it is a kind of a cool feature that I don't believe any others have. Right there, they've got the clamping range. It's going to be stamped. Max capacity, obviously. So in this case, the 56 millimeter will be stamped. I think the 7-inch went to, was it 33? Something like that. It's going to be stamped, and you're like, whoa, I thought you said it was lasered. It totally is. 100% is. And if you're thinking, like, what's this? That's 762. Is this like some special jaw? No, this is simply showcasing the soft jaws. As you should know, I am a huge fan of soft jaws. I use them all the time. In fact, we bought several additional pairs of pliers throughout our time here, specifically to always leave them in soft jaw configuration. I also trash the soft jaws, and therefore, I'm extremely interested in checking out Hazet's, seeing what kind of material they are, if they're softer, if they're harder, if they're more durable, if they last longer, or if I tear through them quicker, or at about the same pace as others. So that is very, very exciting for me. If you had any doubts, these are 100% made in Germany. So, I will tell you right now, I do not currently have the soft jaws, for the simple fact they have not come in stock yet. There will be more. This is perhaps not the only thing we'll be showing. Oh my. Okay. What has just happened is I have made contact. We've got initial contact here with the plier handles. And this was a big deal. This is the other thing, okay? So, the reason that these two are here, seemingly unrelated to the pliers wrench, aside from being from Hazet, this is what they had for pliers handles. This, you would think, like if you've never handled Hazet's tools, which a lot of you won't have because of the price point. It's kind of a deterrent. It's an entry gateway type of a thing. You almost have to wait for a super good deal. Especially outside of wrenches and I would say ratchets. I think those hardline items are going to be the most commonplace for someone outside, or at least in the American marketplace, to have. Could be mistaken, but I feel like that's probably, I'd say ratchet and then wrench would be the order there. The screwdrivers, there's some real gems there. The price, somewhat prohibitive. Pliers, same thing. But if you're thinking like, okay, hey, you know, this is Hazet, so you're gonna have like a hard plastic here on some kind of the Hazet blue, and this is like a soft, real soft rubber high-end feel, right? Not necessarily. This is kind of just slick. That's always kind of been my thing with these, is they were just slick. This also, I don't know why, I've got two other pairs. That's all I have from Hazet, is two other pairs of pliers. These are my most used, I will 100% tell you that, but they like flash rusted on me. I'm sure I could clean it up. I have a couple times, but it just happens. The jaws have held up very well for everything I've put these through. This particular pair is a very nice size. I love the aesthetics of this. Obviously, I think you can see pretty dirty, unfortunately. This handle should clean up beautifully because of how hard it is. But it's just one of those things that's not quite like you would think, right? Based on other things you may have handled. It's sort of like a harder handle, which is great for cleanup, even though I don't have them clean. But it would be great for cleanup, but it's probably, I think most of you would see this and think, okay, hey, that's going to be super soft. These are bougie, expensive pliers. Not necessarily the case. This is one of their styles. Right here, the other styled handle is on this universal plier. These are quite heavy when you haven't handled them in some time. And this is very similar to Ghidorah's. It's obviously slightly different color tinge, again going with the Hazet blue there. I personally kind of like these. I realize this is way harder to keep clean than that. Something about this I like. I don't know what it is. I'm weird, but it is what it is. These have seen good, I wouldn't say a ton of use, but they've seen decent use. You can probably see some shrapnel on them, the teeth kind of dulling and getting some color on them just from, you know, routine wear. But the big selling point is that unique button. That brings us back to this and kind of the elephant in the room and what we alluded to with first contact here. When I saw these, I immediately shot questions off to Colin, in particular about the grips, because this is a double dip. If you can't tell, I'll kind of zoom in for you. This would be sort of probably just your plain Jane dipped handle, right? Think of your channel lock blue Knipex. Most people tend to prefer like the lower end Knipex grips. I don't know what it is. I have no issues with channel locks dip. The Knipex one bothers me. That's why I like either Comfort Grip or the textured one. The textured one is probably universally the least liked. Like I said, everyone has their preferences. Mine very well may be weird, but I know them, okay? So this then, though, doesn't stop there. They didn't just dip it. They've double dipped it, which, of course, anyone that uses double dip pliers knows, hey, that's a little softer, a little bit more comfortable. Might want that when you're bearing down with, you know, 260 millimeter pliers wrench. However, I was very curious, what is this going to feel like? You would assume with most double dips, you've got like your smooth and then you've got like a textured one, right? When these came in, Colin had got to handle them, and he said that he loved the grip. It was kind of like a hybrid between a couple of different things that he's dealt with. And here they are, coming out for the first time. Oh yeah, look at that. I know we're talking about the handles there, but man, that is That is a sight to behold here. 76226 made in Germany. Got the Hazet branding here again. As promised, this 56, nothing to do with the part number. That is your max capacity here. So that's kind of handy, particularly a lot of people that get these might wind up with like a foamed tray or a pack out specific for a Hazet, you know, trolley or something. And if you see this and you're like, okay, hey, that's too small. Or if you were dealing with, say, something 32 millimeter, you'd know like, hey, I don't have to get the 56s. I could potentially grab the 180s or 7-inchers, and they should have the capacity all the way open. Kind of gives you an idea where you'd need to go if it's close to the limits on either side of the scale. That said, okay, I stand corrected. This dip here, this Hazet blue, the beautiful Hazet blue we're touching, it is just like this, at least in my opinion. If I keep in mind, I think you can tell like these are pretty dirty. Down here are honestly a little cleaner than the midsection and up top. But mint condition, these textured handles would have been about like that. So it is not as smooth like I thought it would be, like cheaper pliers do. It's actually textured, and then this is over the top. I don't know how to describe that, but I see exactly what Colin meant. It's almost, it's gonna sound, I've got a lot of channel locks, right, at work, old ones. And yeah, every once in a while, you've got some downtime, you know, something's whittling away at the mill, and you've got some electric tape. Just wrap the handle type of a thing. It's like you hope that would turn out and feel, okay? This has a very unique feel to it. This is one of those things I wish you were here, you could experience yourself. It's basically like sliding my hand over these with less grit. Like there would be a lower coefficient of friction, right? If we took a melting peanut butter cup, put these both at a 15-degree angle, I think it would roll on this a little faster than it would here, but not as fast as like a channel lock blue dip. That's if that analogy does anything for you. Bottom line, these feel fantastic in hand. The other thing is this thing just glistens in the shop light. Chrome plated, max corrosion resistance. That's it. That's your one finish. No other option. Fine by me. Looks great. Max chemical and corrosion resistance. It's a win across the board. As mentioned, 20 detent positions. Some people prefer more detent positions. Some people find it easier if there's fewer. It's one of those catch-22, again, a personal preference. Coming in over here, you can actually start to see the scale. Minor thing I want to highlight here as a machinist, as somebody that just enjoys the aesthetics of higher end tools or cheap tools if they go to these lengths. I dig the cutouts. I dig the weight savings. I like the aesthetics of it. Even if it's not functional, even if it doesn't shed much weight, it just looks cool. If you wanted to custom paint something or letter these or whatever, it's just going to add to the design. Very, very much appreciated. When these are assembled, you can kind of see the whole process. Again, there is a pin that gets shot in right there. It's kind of going to hold everything. Opening these up, this is your first position. There's the jaws. Let's go ahead and do this if you're curious how these work. Yeah, super smooth. Jaws feel fantastic. Minimal play there. Very similar design to Knipex with the cam action. What I want to highlight though, that is a very nice gradient scale. It's going to be labeled every 5 millimeters. It's each one going to be metered out as best I can tell. Let me pull that up and count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So there are definitively the 1 through 4 there before we get to the 5. And again, this goes all the way down to 56. Did we get fractional or imperial or SAE values here? No. Would that have been awesome for me and maybe a couple of you? Yes. Do I understand why Hazet didn't spend money and drive the price up higher doing it? The small fraction, pun intended, of us that would appreciate that. Yeah. Could they possibly do like an SAE specific pair where just the front side was laser etched? Sure. Could they justify a production run of that? I don't know. Possibly. Leave a comment if you're like, man, if they did that, you know, and I could see exactly where it was and know where to go for this stupid, you know, oddball you know, 13, 16 crud, I would be a happy man. Tell them, leave a comment, shoot them a message, whatever you got to do, maybe we'll get it to happen. But the big win here is, again, Hazet Pliers Wrench and just the one-hand operation. It is a very, very unique take. It is also buttery smooth, positive locking. It's really, really nice. Again, the worst thing, the bearer of bad news part of me is just the price. I think that's going to keep a lot of people from trying it. You know, Harbor Freight, you know, it's a knockoff, it's a blatant knockoff. I don't understand why they don't do their own thing sometimes, but that aside, the $40 mark, you're probably willing to try that or wait for a sale. Knipex, if you're like, man, you know, these Icon pliers wrenches were great, sadly they don't make these other sizes, I'm going to buy the Knipex, and you wait around for a, you know, quarterly sale or some type of a thing, you get a great buy on it. Could be tool of the day. The gateway there is not that obstructive, right? If you're like, man, these pliers wrenches are sweet, what else do they have? You know, I'm like, oh, look at the sci-fi grip on the NWS. Not a huge jump in price, right? Gador, you sometimes get a little farther up there. Stahlwille, a little bit farther than that. And then way beyond the green of Stahlwille, you have the Hazet. Again, at least here in the American marketplace, who knows? Maybe these will take off, prices will come down, or they'll say, hey, we want a bigger share of that market space. We think ours are the best. Let's kick them out there at some great prices, see if we can't win some people over. I don't know what the future holds. I just wish that everyone, I wish like Casey Tool had brick and mortar stores scattered around, right? Industrial capitals, and you could just go in and be like, oh yeah, those are nice, but too expensive. I'm waiting for Tool of the Day or Black Friday. Or like, hey, you know, this checks all my boxes. I think I like the feel and the weight and the heft and the size of it. I want to try them. Whether you kit it out, whether you replace what you've got, or you're just like, oh, those are, hey, they're nice. I wish there was a way for people to do that without having to buy something blindly on the internet. For me, that's a great thrill. We've had some things that are super awesome. We have some things that totally suck and we get burned. It's just the nature of the game, right? These are something I was not worried about sucking. These are something I was worried about how good they would be, because that would make me want to expand the set. I'm actually kind of torn on if I would take these to work. I just recently completed a 7 and 10 inch Gador set in addition to the Icon we have at work. But I would just get to use them so much more because I basically live at work. And if that looks like Pac-Man or a parrot or whatever shape and face you're seeing, feel free to leave a comment there. These are incredibly well done. I absolutely love the feel of these in hand. I can't wait to use them in the real world, kind of get a feel for it. And again, the big deal, if you've never used this single release, it's super, super nice. I don't have a ton of time on this card, so we're just going to quickly go through here. First thing I had, my Gadors, I have a 7-inch pair with this handle. And unfortunately, like I said, it is at work. There you can kind of see the color contrast between the two. Again, these would just be universal pliers. If we come in, sticking with Gador, I thought mine had a blue button. I think I do have blue buttons on some. This one must not have. This would be their JC 2-component handle. If we come to Stahlwille here, which these have... There's probably not a ton of people that have used these. There are some things I really, really, really like about the Stahlwille. It is only available, again, this is kind of a textured grip there. Let's see here. Recent edition would be NWS. You're going to have sort of the textured default grip. You're going to have this finish, right? And then, if you're like, hey, NWS, you're supposed to have sci-fi grips. Well, you can do this. You can have your Titan finish. You don't think it kind of more black, or you can have your matte chromium finish, and you can pair either one with either grip you would prefer. And of course, we've got Knipex. I don't have, because again, for whatever reason, I don't like their plastic dipped, again, akin to channel lock handles. I don't have a problem with channel lock. Something about Knipex. I think it has to do with the pair that we dunked in antifreeze. And I've just, ever since then, everything's off to me. But these I actually like. I know they're more difficult to keep clean. This particular pair was purchased solely so I could leave the soft jaws on. You can see, again, they do get worn down, but that's why I like them. And then up here, we're going to have chrome plated with the Knipex 2-component handle. And that's a lot of pliers wrenches, but it's an awesome tool. Again, it's basically a set of wrenches without having to lug, you know, quarter through 1 1/8 or 1 1/4 around with you, which is super cool. For metric people, what is that, like 4 through, I don't know, 24, 28, something, who cares? SAE for me. But this is a super nice pliers wrench. Again, I'm thrilled that they brought it about. I can't wait to continue. Just had to go through there and clear out a ton of space, but yeah, it's everything I had kind of hoped it would be. These grips, all I know to say is they're incredibly unique. It looks like it'd be slick, right? For example, if we grab this pair of Hazets, I think if we kind of pan in a little closer, you can sort of see the grain texture, right? Like you can see metal shavings and antices and the dirt down here, but you can see like that's textured, right? It's kind of like a sandy finish. This is more of a, it's almost like a reverse of that, right? And it feels that way. I mean, if I slide there, I wish you could kind of hear that, if it makes any sense. Let's see here, we'll grab this, maybe. I can hear it, I don't think you'll be able to. And you would think, based on the aesthetics here, if you're able to see it, like, okay, that's a hard plastic grip. No, it's not. That's the thing, this is soft. You've got the benefit of the double dip, but it's very positive in my hand. Again, 2 fingers there. It's got a really good grip, an excellent feel to it. Outside of antices, these are going to probably be much easier to clean than those dipped textured versions because it's black, which is my go-to color. Right here, again, if you've never used their universal pliers, this is something that I think people need to try and experience. Might not like it, might love it. Whether you come in with, say, a 6-inch pliers wrench or maybe a small grip plier, this is something that sets the Hazet apart from others. Also, I love this sound. Just really, really nicely done. Again, excellent stamping and embossing. There's really nothing negative here to say aside from the steep entry price here in the US. So again, like I said, I wanted to personally try these in the 7-inch size. I thought it'd be super sweet. 10 and 7, those are the only 2 sizes currently at launch that are going to have the soft jaws, hence me wanting to go for the 7-inch pair. But, the 10-inch, like I said, it will compare a little bit better for us. And before I forget, this pair here, you're thinking like, yeah, you know, I would maybe go with these before a pliers wrench. I'm set there. I bet these are a little more economical. Here's the thing. This is the old style. These were available. They have now expanded these out, and they're giving them the exact same setup that you see here, handle style-wise, as their new pliers wrench. So the pliers wrench 762 series, Hazet 760 series, is now going to have this style of handle. So that might be something you would enjoy. 760-2 there. Again, the big difference here between these two, you sort of have their armatized finish, and then right here you've got chrome plating. So some people prefer one or the other, some people are indifferent. I will tell you, this one, this Hazet pliers wrench is pretty tricked out in terms of things you could do. Cost adders, it's like fully optioned. You know, it's checking all the boxes. So what we need to do here is play around with this, because that is the nail holder. We're going to grab, again, our little friendly hex key here that I have no idea what it goes to, so it must not be important. And there it is, right? So picture what you will. Maybe this is a holding function key and you got that held up there, and you're going to come in with a socket on the back side. Again, maybe my earlier example where you just need something held so you can come in and cut it. You could have a rotary tool and you're going to grind something down. If I hold this hex coupling, okay, in my hand, and I come in and I'm just trying to whiz it off a little bit or something with a rotary tool or a cutoff, that's a bad situation, right? It's easy to skip, it's easy to get cut, the disc can blow up, all sorts of things can go wrong. How can you prevent your thumb and index finger from becoming the sacrificial animals? Well, with the pliers wrench, you would just come, dial it in, already getting the size correct. That's just years of experience now, I guess, with pliers wrenches. But you can come in here and boom, if I needed to notch this, whatever, look where my hand is, right? I've added 6 to 8 inches of real estate here to protect me from myself doing something stupid to myself, right? Makes sense to some of you, I'm sure. But this is just one of the many things. And of course, if this was a hex coupling here, or we had a turnbuckle, right? Maybe you just dropped a new small block in, you're trying to get it ready for the weekend race. If you come in and you're dialing in a turnbuckle, you know, on a motor mount so you don't rip it out, all the torque from what you should be putting down, boom, easy adjustment. The uses for pliers wrenches are truly, truly insane. I will also take note of how thin this is, which, what does that do? That gets you places that you can't go with a thick giant head. You're thinking like, hey, I want strength. You know, I'd be more concerned about that. This is your strength, okay? This beefcake here is the strength, and you've paired kind of extremes here. I would say this is above average in terms of thickness, and I'd say this is below average in terms of thickness, which in this case could be a good thing. So you've sort of got a win and a win, potentially. Case in point, if I flip this NWS around, it's fairly slim too, but again, the Hazet is just, it's almost like washer thin, right? If I had a 5/8 flat washer here, I think it would be a little thicker than that head. The Knipex, so this would be Series 2 if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty thin, but then you can kind of see what they did here. They sort of beefed it out. Hazet sort of added reinforcement internally. It's hard to quantify, hard to know until we have some seat time. The Stahlwille is going to be a bit beefier, and by bit we mean kind of significantly, right? There, those two are side by side. Again, we'll eventually do comparisons and all that stuff. The Gadors, they're not super thick, but again, compared to the Hazet, I'd say it's noticeable. Coming in there, just super, super cool tools. They are a little spendy, but if you don't have a pliers wrench, regardless of the brand, I'd suggest you pick one up. 10-inch oftentimes costs less than the smaller sizes. That's not the case with Hazet, but it oftentimes does, so keep that in mind if you're shopping around. This is just a beautiful tool, and I am thrilled that it is here. Man, tool of the day, seasonal sales, something, I don't know. If you see this on a deal and you crest like 40% off, that may be as good as it gets, at least in terms of like KC tool. Maybe like I've bought a lot of Hazet stuff for stupid good deals. I'm talking like 50+%. Like insanely good deals, and this isn't like junk. This is like HP ratchets and stuff. Most of you are covered. You've got your pliers, wrenches, and then some. But if you're like me, you want to try it, but you're also trying to be thrifty, take your time, wish list it, check back frequently, maybe shop around, especially again if you're overseas. It might be easier to find on a deal for everyone in America. Be leery, you know, of black market iterations, and I don't know, just patience, and that can save you a lot in the long run. But yeah, this thing's awesome, and I cannot wait to use it. I'm really considering taking it to work. That would just give me so much more seat time with it, but I don't know. I'm going to quit rambling. I want to know what you think of this thing. What are your first impressions? Do you like what they've done with the hand? Just in terms of aesthetics even. I realize you can't feel it. In terms of aesthetics, you're like, hey, that's the way to do it, because my Knipex, I've got smooth, I've got textured, I've got 2-component. They all look like junk. They're all black. This is already black. I don't have to feel bad. It cleans up easier. Whatever you think, if you think this is a win, if you think it's a terrible choice and they should have done something like this, 2-component style, brought some more color into it, or multiple textures, Feel free to share. If you have used this style of lever, particularly, you probably have it here on their grip pliers. What do you think of it? Do you find it to be a game changer? Do you like it in certain situations? Do you detest it? Do you find it to be better than the push buttons that you see pretty much on everyone else? Stahlwille is a little different. Real world experience. Tell people your thoughts. The jaws on these are interestingly, I don't know if it's like just a parallax thing where they're at. They look a little bit longer, and by longer I would refer to the depth here. Again, that could be good, it could be bad, kind of depends what you're doing. There's your bottom jaw. This is just a beautiful tool that I think is going to perform just as good as it looks, and that's the awesome part. So with that said, again, first-hand feedback on any of Hazet pliers, intricacies, the workings. Again, this really is what sets them apart, is the single hand quick release button. It's essentially the same thing that you would do with your Knipex, Gador, NWS, Icon, what have you. It's just I don't have to go all the way up there and then bring my other hand in. I can go here and I can make it happen. You see what I'm saying? So like right there, I can come up and we can kind of close it down. It's very, very unique. You're essentially doing the same thing, you just have that extension on it to be able to do it at a different position with your hand. Stupid comfortable, in my opinion, a very good looking tool. I think they're going to be a pretty solid addition. Are they worth the $140? That's up to you to decide. Again, the beautiful thing here with the internet, I would have bought these, talked to friends about them, made internet posts on forums about them, shared pictures, all that stuff. YouTube is kind of the creme de la creme for that thing, right? So those of you that were interested in these, this is a good look at them before you have to shell out. Those of you that didn't know these existed and are going to be interested in them, I'm sorry or you're welcome. Probably a little bit of both. But just a super, super neat tool from Hazet. And again, it's crazy to think that they didn't have one, right? NWS you'd think would be like the latecomer coming out here this recent. But no, it was Hazet kind of waiting in the wings, probably refining this, going over iterations, things they could do, different improvements. It's really where you kind of have these set apart. Your Knipex came first, they're the creator, the innovator, and then once your patents kind of expire, other people can come in and put their take on it, which is luckily what the German tool companies have done, as opposed to Icon that just, imitation's a sincerest form of flattery, but like when you take the diamond, which is the Knipex logo, that's the part that really kills me, If they would have done a Icon rectangular logo, I've covered it ad nauseum, I know, but it just, man, start with what's successful from Knipex, tweak it, make it your own, right? Don't try to make it look exactly like the Knipex and confuse people, and that's at least what they've done. How long was Hazet working on these? I don't know, but they put their spin on the pliers wrench, and they can be proud of that, right? They took a very successful, popular tool, very functional tool. They put their spin on it, their take, their improvements, if you will, and they released it into the world after proper testing. That's the way you do it. Same with Gador, Stahlwille, NWS. It's good stuff, man. So, yeah, if you've got tons of these, from multiple brands, feel free to talk about that. Which one you prefer, which one you don't, which one you think is a sweet spot. Whatever you want to talk about, feel free to make it happen. With that said, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, we have a lot of stuff that I'm going to kind of front load here, just because I don't want to make this video right now, on April 18th, and you see it in November or December or sometime next year. I want you to know about this when it's new. I've done that a lot with some of the stuff. I've kind of tried to chronologize it, in the correct order, and I'd rather you know about something. So moving forward, there will still be cool stuff that I pick up for the first time, but if it's been out for years and I'm just getting to it, I'm not worried. If Hazet comes out and they put out an EDC version of this next week, I want to expedite that. I want you to know about it. I'm curious. I want to bring it in. And so many of these stuff, I've got I could pass away tomorrow, you know, and if my nephew can get into my account, he can release, you know, 2 years worth of videos, right? People wouldn't even know I was gone. But in this case, and with something like if Hazet comes out with a locking flex head, HP90, I'm going to front load that, all right? So we're kind of changing course here. We've done that in the past with some things. There's a lot of it I wish I would have done that way. But I think from here on out, instead of just having like the standard tool haul, which yes, other stuff came with this, we are going to try to get you the new stuff when it's fresh. Because it really eats at me when I don't. Like I said, there's things that were brand new that we showcased in a timely manner that just haven't been released because they're buried in a log of videos. So expedited. That's how excited I am. That's how interested I am in this. And that way, if you want to get in on the action early, be one of the first adopters, be able to say like, that is the best pliers wrench, or, you know, this is really good, but it's basically double the price of my favorite, which is insert this brand. I can't really justify it or recommend it to my friends, whatever. I just want you to know that it's here and it exists. And if you think like, oh, the little guy's trying to sell us things, get us to click some links and buy, right? No, I don't care. There is no one that I'm aware of on YouTube that has done tool hauls or tool anythings for as long as I have and has never had a link that got me a dime. Alpha Gloves, 20% off. Do I see a dime? No, nothing. You just save 20%. That's it. KC Tool, when I take the time and timestamp, here it's one link. Yes, simple. But when we do tool hauls and we got like 12 items in there and I put those links, I have never made a dime off of any of that. I assure you. You can check with the sources. It is not an affiliate link. It is a direct link. I've had many people tell me to do affiliate links and all that stuff and Amazon plugs and everything. I'm weird. I know. I'm here for the tools. So be it, right? So when you see that link and you think like, I'm going to get that, but he just wants me to buy a $140 pliers wrench or he gets kickback. No, I get nothing. You could buy the whole set. I get nothing. But this is me. This is my curiosity. This is what I genuinely enjoy. Again, take the camera away. I'm doing the same thing. I just don't have to narrate to you and I'd already be using the tool and comparing it. It's how I work. But yeah, that's it, man. It is the Hazet Pliers Wrench. Super excited to see it here. Could there be more in our future? Definitely. Will I wait for a lower price? Probably. Do I hope I'll find a lower price? Definitely. And, we'll just leave it at that. So again, your thoughts and opinions on any of this stuff, feel free to leave it down below. But this is one really good looking pliers wrench. And yeah, I am curious though, you know, part of me sort of misses the Hazet blue, the Hazet teal. This is very akin to the HP90s, particularly if we had like a little band here or some branding. Maybe they missed the mark there. Maybe like if Hazet was across here or maybe here or even on the inside where it wouldn't even interfere with your grip, it would look cool. I don't know. I think this is from a functional standpoint. This is pretty dadgum good. So aesthetically, maybe we could have tweaked it, brought a little color in, get the logo somewhere else. I don't know. But man, I'm legitimately excited about these. Can't wait to use them. And again, I am very close to throwing these in my hoodie and they're going to work in the morning. Just really wanting to get some seat time with them. So that's it. I'm going to quit rambling because I got to edit this mess and get it uploaded for you. That's the downside. I've got all these videos ready to go and now I make myself edit and upload something. Uploading is the big problem with my slow, amazing internet. But, yeah, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, I do hope you enjoyed. Again, timestamps. I do that for your convenience. If you want to go straight to where it comes out of the box, if you want to go straight to when the other pliers wrenches come out, it's there for your convenience. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, I encourage you to leave a like. If you like multiple videos, I encourage you to subscribe. If you do that, you ring the bell, you jump your charger across the creek, and you've got your brand new 260mm pair of Hazet Pliers Wrench. YouTube just might notify you we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop. You thought the video was over and I was just here taking the thumbnail and didn't edit it out? No, we're back, and for good reason. I was going to go close the box up and possibly use it in the thumbnail, and there was something that caught my eye. It's like, hey, that looks like a leaflet, but you know, you'd probably have to cut the box open or something. Nope, turns out it just pulls out, and check this out. This is what we were talking about, the Series 760, conveniently located here, right? They're grip pliers, if you will. This showcases the redesign, and of course the size ranges you can get. There's all their part numbers, you've got your length, you've got your snap-in distance, locking position, the clamping range. 762, what is that? It is the pliers wrench, and again, same setup right here. You've got the entire gauntlet, the 12, 15, 18, and 26 corresponding with the length in millimeters. There's your snap-in distance, locking positions, and there is your clamping range. So really, really cool. I have not seen many companies have an insert like this with action-packed information. So really cool packaging there. Again, this makes me that much more excited about these. But yeah, that's it. Just a little bonus for you. I would be feel wrong if we didn't include it, because that is a nice little touch they threw in. So well, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you back for more from the shop.